The door slammed so hard that the picture frames on the wall rattled. Her perfume still hung in the air, sharp, sweet, and suffocating. She hadn't even looked back when she said, "I'm going, Daniel. I need this night." Then the sound of her heels faded down the hallway. That was the last thing I heard before silence swallowed the apartment whole. It was a party I didn't want her to attend. "It's just co-workers," she'd said. "You're overthinking it." But the moment she mentioned Evan, her new supervisor who texted her late at night with project updates, something inside me twisted. I didn't accuse her. Not outright. I'd promised myself I wouldn't be that husband. The clock ticked. 9:30, 10:15, 11. Every minute stretched like wire pulled too tight. I poured a drink to calm down, but the whiskey only deepened the ache in my chest. I scrolled through our old photos, her head on my shoulder, her smile unguarded, and tried to remember what trust used to feel like. I texted her, "Hope you're having fun." No reply. By midnight, the tension had turned to something darker. The apartment felt like it was breathing. Every creak, every gust from the vents sounded like footsteps. My mind was a projector, replaying images I didn't want to see. Her laughing with Evan. His hand brushing hers. Her eyes not pulling away. I set my phone down, face up, as if that might summon her response. Nothing. When the call finally came, it was short. "I'll stay at Lisa's," she said, voice too steady. "You're overreacting." Overreacting. I repeated, my throat tight. "You left me here wondering where you were, and now you're not even coming home." She sighed. "Please, Daniel. Not tonight. I need space." Space. That word echoed through me like a blade scraping bone. She hung up before I could say another word. I barely slept. I sat in the dark living room, watching the city lights tremble through the blinds. At some point, I noticed her framed photo on the bookshelf, taken the summer we married, before her eyes learned to lie. I turned it face down. When dawn began to bleed into the sky, the lock clicked. I didn't move. Her heels tapped softly across the floor, slower this time. She stopped when she saw me sitting there. "Daniel," she said, startled, as if I were the one who'd done something wrong. "Good morning," I murmured. My voice was calm in a way that frightened even me. "Lisa's house doesn't smell like cologne, does it?" Her expression faltered. "What are you talking about?" I stood up, taking in every detail. The smeared lipstick, the faint trace of aftershave that wasn't mine, the wrinkle in her dress where a hand had once rested. "You should shower," I said quietly. "You smell like someone else." For a long moment, she just stared at me, eyes wide and hollow. "You don't know what you're saying." "I think I do." The silence between us was unbearable. The city outside had woken, but in our apartment, time had stopped. Then she broke. "Nothing happened," she whispered. "It was stupid. I shouldn't have gone." I almost wanted to believe her. God, I did. I wanted to erase the night, to rewind to the moment she walked out and tell her to stay. But the truth was already here, pulsing in the air like static. "Nothing happened," I repeated, each word trembling. "Then why can't you look at me?" Tears welled in her eyes, but they didn't move me. They felt rehearsed, like lines from a play she'd performed before. "I made a mistake," she said. "I just wanted to feel alive again." I laughed softly. "Alive?" I took a step closer. "You had to kill us to feel alive." She flinched. "You've been so distant since the accident," she said. "You look at me like you're still broken." "I'm broken," I said. But I didn't walk away. Her lips trembled, but she had no answer. I realized then that she'd already left me, long before the party, long before tonight. She just hadn't said it aloud. I walked to the window, needing air that didn't burn. The city was alive below, cars gliding through the wet streets, people heading to work, completely unaware that someone's life had just collapsed. "Behind me," she said softly, "can we fix this?" I turned around slowly. She was standing by the couch, still in that wrinkled dress, still pretending we were salvageable. "You can't fix something you refuse to admit you broke," I said. Her face crumpled, and she sank into the couch, covering her face with her hands. I wanted to comfort her, but the instinct died before it reached my heart. The sun climbed higher, spilling harsh light across the room. I picked up my jacket from the chair, sliding it on with hands that didn't feel like my own. "Where are you going?" she asked, voice small. "For a walk," I said. "To see what silence feels like somewhere else." I left before she could answer. Outside, the air was cold and sharp, slicing through the fog in my mind. I walked without direction, my feet carrying me through streets that looked different now, emptier, unfamiliar. I thought about the way she said alive. I thought about the way she couldn't meet my eyes. I thought about how love turns, slowly, until one day it's something else entirely. Hours later, my phone buzzed with a message from her. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you." I didn't reply. Some apologies are like ashes, you can hold them, but they stain your hands. That night, I came home to the same silence she'd left behind. Her things were still there. Her perfume still lingered. But something was gone. Something invisible. Final. I sat on the couch where she'd wept and stared at the doorway where she'd stood. Then, for the first time, I let myself cry. Not for her. Not even for what she'd done. But for the version of us that had once believed we'd never get here. And when the tears stopped, the silence wasn't empty anymore. It was honest.